Sherm Chester with you on this edition of the Seacoast Sports Forum. And we have our two special guests from Seacoast Media Group and SeacoastOnline.com, Jay Pinsonnault and Brandon Brown. Two busy gentlemen, and welcome aboard. And what's your take on what we've seen so far in the spring sports season?
Yeah, it's been a good first couple weeks of the season in New Hampshire. Maine hasn't really gotten going yet. They get started next week, but seen a lot of good performances from a lot of teams in the first 2 weeks of the New Hampshire high school sports season, whether it be baseball, softball, lacrosse, tennis. A lot of good things going on. A lot of teams are playing well, and hopefully we can just get some consistent weather, some warm weather here. That'll really help the games.
Brandon, you did a lot of scouting, preseason scouting of different teams, and on some of your reports, again, some of the standouts you've seen so far in spring and the different sports.
Portsmouth girls lacrosse is as strong as ever. Obviously, the heavy favorites to win the D1 state championship, which would be the third in a row. Some more strong teams are Exeter baseball off to a good start, which I'll be there today. Their pitching has been dominant with Ethan Battles, Nolan Anglers, among a few. So pitching goes a long way, of course. So they have that for sure. So defending champs are off to a good start. When it comes to St. Thomas girls lacrosse, both defending state champions, both off to good starts as well. So Spalding baseball, good start as well. There's a lot of good teams playing well in the first week and a half.
That Exeter Londonderry game the other day was a toe-to-toe barn burner. Tell us about the lady that gave us the game winner, Exeter Bluehawks.
Yes, I spoke to Riley at Thursday evening's practice. Freshman year, she had 39 goals, 8 assists. And through 5 games this year, she's at 24 goals, which on a pace is 90 through 18 game regular season, which no pressure, but that's a lot of goals. But she's playing really well, the sophomore. Bigger role this year. She's had 2 games with 6 goals, 2 games with 5. So she's had a strong season. She's been playing, she said, pretty much her whole life, and she loves the game. So really standout player over there, and the team as well. So
Yeah, it was a very coordinated effort, a lot of firepower, and I was impressed seeing what I saw against Londonderry. And I know, Jay, we're going to be going up against the Winnicott Warriors, so that'll be an interesting matchup too.
Yeah, they Winnicott, the defending two state champions, they faced off against the juggernaut that is Portsmouth on Wednesday, and that's as Brandon said, the two-time Division One state champion. And I was expecting Portsmouth to win, but I thought Winnicott would put forth give them a more competitive game. Portsmouth went on to win 16-3. And when I saw that score, I was kind of surprised. Winnicott has started the season off strong, but I think how they played against Portsmouth on Wednesday, I think you're going to see that a lot on Portsmouth's schedule the rest of the season for Division One. And as Brandon alluded to earlier, they are the heavy favorite to win a third straight Division One state championship.
Again, throwing all the spring sports out there. Any teams in any of the other divisions that surprise you, how they've had a good start?
In all sports?
Yeah, just in general.
Yeah, I think the biggest surprise to me, and Brandon's seen them and I've seen them, but Spalding baseball, who has struggled for the last few years, they're off to a 3-2 start. And for them, that's a very good start to the season. They opened with a 10-4 victory at Portsmouth. Then they beat Timberlane 1-0. Then they lost to Merrimack 1-0. And then they battled a very good Goffstown team, and they were winning 4-1 in the sixth and 5-2 in the seventh. And they ended up losing in 8 innings, 6-5. And then just this past Wednesday, Winnicott, who went into that game undefeated at 4-0, Spalding beat them 5-3. So Brad Taylor's doing a great job over there. Spalding's 3-2. They have a tough game against Londonderry, and they're going to be missing some players due to a senior overseas trip. So hopefully they can weather that storm where they don't have all their starters, but off to a 3-0 start, or I'm sorry, a 3-2 start, and they have had every game has been close, and they've been managed to win a game by 1 run and another game by 2 runs. So good teams have to pull out those close wins, and so far 5 games in, Spalding to me would have to be the surprise of the Division I high school baseball season so far through the first 2 weeks.
Brandon, I know you've covered all the preseason teams. Any team in particular stand out to you at this point?
I wouldn't say surprise for this one, but St. Thomas baseball, first year head coach Eric Wells from Marshwood, also a 5-0 start. Solid lineup 1 through 9, and solid pitching as well. So they've looked really good as well. I saw them on Wednesday against Oyster River. That was a good game. Oyster River scored 6 in the bottom of the 7th, had the bases loaded, and flew out to end the game. But that was probably the best game I've been to so far in a week and a half of the season. So, but yeah, they've been playing really well.
Another sport you guys, Jay and I were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, that the coverage of tennis this year. And I noticed one of the articles on Seacoast Online was about the St. Thomas Aquinas boys tennis team having a tennis match against the defending D3 champs, and came up a winner. So tennis is an interesting topic for you guys this year too.
Yeah, they improved to 7-0 on the season. They beat Kearsarge 9-0, and that score a little surprising because Kearsarge is the defending Division III state champions. So I'm just assuming they lost a lot of seniors from last year's team, but St. Thomas is led by the big 3 of Coach Mulda, Aaron Mulda, and Adam. Is it Adam? I think it's Adam, Alex, and Aaron.
Yep.
And off the top of my head, I forget who's who. So Brandon, can you help me on that one?
Yeah, Adam's the coach.
And then it's Aaron and Alex as the
Aaron
2 players.
Yep.
And the senior, the number 1 singles player for St. Thomas, the older Mulder brother, won the New Hampshire State Individual Championship last year. So they do play Division III, and I kind of look at those Division III like, how would they do against Division I, Division II teams? But this kid proved that he's the best tennis player in the state, going and winning the state individual championship last year. So St. Thomas is off to a good start. They're almost at the halfway point of their season. They're off until May 4th when they face Guilford at home. So of their 7 wins, they have 4 wins by 9-0 shutout. The only close match they've had so far is Profile, and that was a 5-4 match win on earlier this week. And Profile is 1-2 on the season. So we'll see how if St. Thomas can continue their undefeated ways here in the beginning of the Division III boys tennis season.
And in Division I, the Exeter Blue Hawks right now are undefeated 6-0, and that's pretty impressive. You guys know anything about that team and some of the standouts?
Yeah, Justin Tardif has to be one of my favorite coaches in the Seacoast tennis landscape. He's always been great to us over here at reporting his scores, and he does a great job over there. He always has his teams in contention late in the year, and they got Owen Russell at number 1 singles, and then a kid named with the best name so far of the spring season. I think it's Coco Pizoric. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that last name, but they're on top of the 1-2 singles for Exeter boys tennis, and they're both playing well up there, and they typically team up and play number 1 double. So when they're at their best, that's 3 wins in a match, and you need 5 to win. So they always give Exeter a good chance to get a win. And as you said, they're off to a great start. They haven't lost yet, and what's good about their record is they're 6-0. 4 have been 9-0 shutouts, and the other 2 have been they've won 8-1. So they're off to a strong start, and they're one of 4 undefeated teams in Division I right now, with Derryfield, Bedford, and Hanover. So it's still somewhat early in the season, but Exeter's definitely off to a strong start.
I was going to say Bedford and Derryfield so far undefeated in both boys and girls tennis. So they got juggernauts there. So,
yes, yeah, they're always at the end there in the tennis scene as well. Every year it seems Derryfield's always there, both boys and girls.
now softball. We've mentioned baseball. Let's not forget about softball. Do both of you cover softball, or is it, Brandon, do you get more softball action, or how's it work?
I know I went to Portsmouth when it Winnicott softball last week. I did the Oyster River feature, which I should mention out, by the way. Oyster River softball. Sam Bishop started the season with a no-hitter and started the season with 16 scoreless. So I did a feature story on her and her start of the season. So yeah, it's been some good performances in softball as well.
I was going to say,
Portsmouth, Portsmouth, Winnicott are both off to 3-2 starts. Exeter, they're 2-3. They lost their first 3 games of the season. They've won their last 2. So Kristen's got them going playing well, and Exeter's 2-3. They're off to a better start in recent games, winning 2 of their last 3 games, and Portsmouth is good, Winnicott's good, and they're in the upper middle of Division I right now. You get 2 undefeated teams. You got Londonderry 6-0, Pinkerton 5-0, and then you got a couple teams at 4-1. So Winnicott and Portsmouth and Dover. Dover's 3-2 as well. So you got 3 Seacoast teams right there at 3-2. So winning more games than losing. So
yeah, it's like you said a little while ago. It's early in the season, so a lot of teams are warming up, but some are juggernauts. I mean, like I said, Bedford, Derryfield, and tennis, and we know Pinkerton's always there, whatever the sport is. Let's go to lacrosse, boys lacrosse in particular. I'll make it a jump ball or a draw, as the case be, a face off, whatever you want to call it, between you guys. Who wants to tell me about some of the boys lacrosse action?
Just like the girls team at Portsmouth, the boys are also contending for their 3rd straight championship, led by a couple players such as Sam Biddle, Max Deneen, who's a freshman who has come on very strong for them, AJ Craig in goal. So they're off to a strong start over there in D2. So yeah, that's probably the standout team right now.
And what I liked from the Portsmouth or from the Division One lacrosse scene is Exeter. Exeter's won their first 3 games of the season pretty handily. They won 18-4, 17-4, 16-3. But on Wednesday, I got Matt Brewster, the head coach of Exeter, contacts me, and he said that they lost to one of the top 5 teams in the state of Massachusetts by 1 goal, 9-8, and that was to a school named Bishop Feehan High School out of Attleboro, Mass. And they were known for their stellar baseball play back in the 1990 season with a very bad pitcher named Jay Pinsonnault. So it was funny to see Matt Brewster let me know that they took my alma mater right down to the end there and lost to them by 1 goal, which he was very happy and very proud of the way his team played against one of the top 5 states or top 5 teams in the state. Sean Haw, Griffin Gennard each scored 2 goals in that game, and Matt Wilhelm, Sam Gibney, and Jackson LaRanger all scored 1. So he was happy. He was happy with that performance against the Shamrocks of Bishop Feion High School, and he's going to try to make that an annual out-of-state game going forward. Bishop Feion baseball, they get another pitcher you guys may have heard about who's getting national attention right now. Brody Bamilia is his name. 6'9", lefty, throws 98, 99 miles an hour. He led Feion to the Division I state basketball championship this winter, averaging 40 points, 20 rebounds a game. He's committed to the University of Texas for baseball. I don't think he's gonna go to. I don't think he's gonna go there. I think he gets drafted, and right now I think he's the number 32 ranked prospect in this upcoming draft. So who knows? Maybe Craig Breslow will keep one of the home state kids at Fenway. So that's my little segue into my alma mater there in Bishop Feion High School.
Okay, fair enough. And one thing about that lacrosse team, and I maybe you can verify now, are there players, sons of players from the Patriots on that team, or are they coaches on that team? Somebody told me there's a tie-in with Bishop Feion and the Patriots.
Yeah, there's Bishop Feion's located in Attleboro, and that's a school that draws from a lot of different communities, and a lot of the Patriots current players, former players live in that area. And I know at one point, Teddy Bruschi was an assistant football coach there. Logan Mankins, who was probably the best Patriot not to win a Super Bowl because his 10-year career was right after the first 3 Super Bowls and right before the last 3 Super Bowls. So he never got a ring with the Patriots, but he was an assistant coach there. Both of his boys played football there. One is going to Ole Miss. I just saw that this week. He committed to Ole Miss, and you see a lot of football kids also play lacrosse. So I don't know of any former Patriot player kids playing lacrosse for Feion right now, but I wouldn't be surprised because I know they do have a lot of Patriots players, kids there who play football, and I think the safe assumption would be that some of those kids also play lacrosse. So.
There you go. So you're confirming what I heard as a
yes.
rumor.
I can confirm a rumor. Yes.
Hey, Brandon, have you one sport I don't want to forget about is the outdoor track. Have you been keeping tabs on some of the teams here in the Seacoast for outdoor track?
Exeter, as always, top of the line, upper echelon, the standard of any track season. So they're off to a strong start as well.
Yeah, I can hop in there.
Fancy.
Yeah, I think I can hop in there. They had a 4-team meet at Exeter High School the other day. They came away with the win. Exeter girls won, and both Exeter girls won, boys won. Lexi Paterna just keeps doing what she always does. Last Saturday at a Oyster River Spring Classic, it was called. Lexi won both the 800 and 1600. So she's just doing what she continues to do, and I think it's going to be another strong season, a strong spring season for Lexi. And then other winners that day was Sydney McIntyre, Emma Roeder, Mattel McBride, Lucille Beam, Lexi Rogers won a couple of events. So Exeter's the top of the line for track in the Seacoast, and they have a great coaching staff over there, and it's no wonder that Exeter consistently is in the hunt for the Seacoast Track Championship, the Division I State Championship, and META champions. They're always well represented, and it helps when you have a girl, a standout like Lexi Paterna, but it's definitely more than just her. So Exeter Track is off to a good year.
There you go. There you go. Well, let's go to the bigger guys now. Let's head on to it's NFL draft time, and the first round, the Patriots picked up an offensive tackle. I was surprised that they had some choices, and they went with this kid from Utah. Um, did you like the picks the other teams made? And again, I know. I know, I know, Brandon, you're a fan. You're not a Patriots fan, so you can give us the take on the general draft, and then Jay, you can give us a take on what you thought about the Patriots. So let's start with Brandon. What do you overall the first round of the draft? What was your take, ups and downs?
I would say the worst pick by far is the Rams, Ty Simpson. I feel like if you're in a win now mode, you need a player who can contribute right away. And also, their backup is Stetson Bennett, who's a two-time champion from Georgia. So I'm not sure why they would go quarterback at 13. I felt like a receiver uh, was the way to go, or someone defensively. I'm surprised Caleb Downs slid to 11 with Dallas. I thought he was a top 10 pick, but I'm glad the Saints didn't get him. So I can't be too, I guess, upset about him sliding. Jeremiah Love at 3. I would you can't. It's hard to pass him up, but running backs, their shelf life, it's a big investment at number 3. But I would say those are my top right there.
And Jay, what about the
Yeah,
pack?
I think it was it's not often where you often see the Patriots trade their first round pick, but it's not often that you see them trade up to get the player they wanted, moving from 31 to 28 with Buffalo to select the Luma from Utah, big right tackle. He didn't give up a sack this season, and I think that says a lot because Utah runs a very pass heavy oriented offense. So he didn't allow a sack, and they actually had a 30 visit scheduled with him that the Patriots actually canceled because they didn't think there was a chance that he was going to be available when the Patriots were on the board. So Elliot Wolf and Mike Vrabel and the Patriots organization, they saw the guy they were hoping for at 28, and they made a move with Buffalo. I was very happy that they targeted a guy. The guy was there, and they made a trade to go get him, and they gave up an extra pick to go get the guy they wanted. From what the initial reports are saying, he maybe not go in right away and start, but maybe serve his rookie season under like almost like a redshirt season behind Morgan Moses at right tackle. Learn from him. Morgan Moses is probably one of the better veterans you can learn from at the right tackle position. So I don't think there's going to be as much pressure on this kid than what the pressure was for Will Campbell last year coming in automatically being named the starter, the 4th pick in the draft, protecting May's blind side. So I think the Patriots, they needed help on the offensive line. They saw a guy they liked, and they targeted him, and they get the guy they wanted. So,
And Brandon, back to something you brought up, as far as quarterbacks are concerned, supposedly all the experts are saying this wasn't the greatest, year for picking a quarterback.
Yeah, it wasn't really a strong quarterback class in my opinion. I go as far as to say, I'm, I mean, yeah, Mendoza's a Heisman winner, but where does he stack up against some of the recent Heisman winners? He's a champion, but I'm still not sold on him. So that's a big risk in that number 1. But the Raiders will be picking top 3 next decade, so they have their chances to make it right.
It's true. That's
But
a good point. I mean, it's a team that, when I was in my young days, that was a dominant team. And I mean, it was a machine out there, well, when they were the Oakland Raiders. And, they're going through this change now and management and coaching and ownership, including Tom Brady. So this Mendoza pick, I feel good for the kid. He
Mhm.
has credentials, but on the other hand, whether he'll make it with a team like the Raiders, that's definitely a crapshoot. I hope for the best for him, but I just don't know. It seems like a nice kid, and I think that team has always been a type of team that needed an edge, somebody that came in there and just had an edge or chip on their shoulder to run the show. So I don't know what future. You're right. They're going to be picking probably first, second, or third in the future. For a while. Now the NBA and the NHL seasons are cooking right now. Let's go to the NBA. Celtics and Philadelphia, dominant in game one, fell back in game two. I mean, how do you see that ending? Brandon, you want to take it first?
Yeah, I see it ending in Sixers and five. I think no, seriously. I think that's probably the only game Philadelphia gets. Um, I mean, yeah, they're going back home to Philly, but I just don't think they can match up, unfortunately, with Boston. Paul George isn't the same Paul George. Embiid he can blink and get hurt. So it's too much on Tyrese Maxey, a smaller guard who I'm a big fan of, but to ask a smaller guard to win a playoff series, it's really difficult to do.
I
So
like Maxey. I think he's a very good player. I like him a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of him.
And now, if you had to pick right now, the two teams that show up at the end, I mean, we know there's a lot of ball to play, but who would you pick, or who are you thinking will be there at the end?
OKC and the East.
Say it, Brandon. Say it.
I can't, I can't, I can't. But I think OKC gets back. They have a good team. They play with the rest on their side a lot. So 5-on-8 is kind of hard to beat. But and with Wembanyama getting a concussion, they're in a dangerous spot now, heading back to Portland. But I'm rooting for Minnesota. So, but I don't think they will get there.
And Jay?
Surprisingly, I'm going with the Celtics. There's just they had a little hiccup the other night. They'll get focused. I don't think anyone was expecting a sweep, but I think everyone expected Philly to get at least one game. I think the Celtics win the next three to end the series in five. And I was hoping for San Antonio out of the West, but now with the injury, as Brendan said, to Wembanyama, I think that really hurts them a lot, and I think that puts SGA and the Thunder back in the driver's seat to get out of the West. And I think right now on April 24th, you're going to be looking at a Boston, Oklahoma City NBA Finals with the Celtics hoisting banner 19.
Yeah, I'll go with you on that one, kiddo. I have to agree with you on that one. Now, let's just shift to one more sport. The Bruins got into the playoffs. Do you think the Bruins are going to be there much longer beyond Series 1?
I think the Bruins season is going to be ending, and I don't think they get out of the first round.
Well, I have to agree with you. And their roommates at Nesson, the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Wow.
You get a paper bag here, Sherm, that I can wear?
Alex Cora's job. I was hoping that the Red Sox would turn the ship around. The players would start getting the bats hot and the arms would stay solid. Unfortunately, now they're falling by the wayside. Losing Sonny Gray now and Crochet. I don't know what's the problem there. We haven't heard anything about any physical problem with him, right?
Correct. No, and Roman Anthony has done nothing this year. I think he has one home run and I think he has 3 RBIs. You need him to play well. Caleb Durbin, he's done nothing at all. He finished 3rd in the NL Rookie of the Year voting last year when he was with the Brewers. He's done absolutely nothing in the season. Ship him back to the Brewers, your team, Sherm. And Greg Weissert, who coughed up a lead against the Yankees, he should be DFA'd. He's awful. there's no power. There's no Trevor Story. He hits a home run and then he strikes out 5 times in a row. It's going to be a long summer for the Red Sox, and this could be the worst season. I'm thinking this is going to be the worst season. It's going to parallel the year of 2012 when Bobby Valentine was the manager of the Red Sox. And we all know how bad Bobby Valentine was in his 1 year as the manager. And what you said at the beginning of Alex Cora, I like Cora as a manager. It seems like every year that he's been manager of the Red Sox, except for 2018, the Red Sox have started out of the gates very slowly, have not gotten off to a quick start. And granted, you have to have players on your team that can play, and it's clearly evident that this Red Sox team, as it's constructed now, is not going anywhere, and it's a surprise when they win a game.
2-minute drill time. Jay, I know you guys have been busy putting articles together for the upcoming Seacoast Media Group papers and also for SeacoastOnline.com. What can we look forward to from you and Brandon?
It's not something we get going, just a prediction.
Oh, okay.
Is it all right if I do a prediction, Care?
Go right ahead.
I'm going to go. We are now 25% through the high school baseball season.
Mm-hmm.
So every year, the state of New Hampshire gives a Gatorade Player of the Year and a Pitcher of the Year. My prediction is the New Hampshire Pitcher of the Year will come from Exeter High School, with Ethan Battles edging out teammate Nolan Engler for the top spot. So my prediction, Ethan Battles will win the New Hampshire Pitcher of the Year. He's off to a great start. He, in his opening game win at Wyndham, I think it was Wyndham was his first game. He had 16 strikeouts. The second game out, he had 14 strikeouts, lost a no-hit bid with, I think, 2 outs in the 7th inning. If I were Bruce Joyce, I'd consider benching Ethan Battles because he gave up a hit. but that's just me. But seriously, Ethan Battles is having a great 2 starts. It's a very short sample size, but he's definitely put the rest of the state on notice that if he's not, you're going to have to be a very good pitcher to beat out Ethan Battles to win New Hampshire Pitcher of the Year.
Any predictions from you, Brandon?
Every girls lacrosse team that won a championship last year will repeat this year. So that's Portsmouth in D1, Winnacunnet in D2, and St. Thomas in D3.
Jay, you got stuff that's going in for you and for Brandon on the paper and on Seacoast Online. What can we look forward to?
As we said earlier at the beginning of this podcast, that his feature story on Exeter sophomore girls lacrosse player Riley Benavidez, off to a great start so far after a stellar freshman year. I'll be at the Winnacunnet Goffstown baseball game. It's a rematch of last year's quarterfinal round where Winnacunnet went in and as the 10th seed and upset the number 2 seed Grizzlies. Both teams are 4-1. Both teams are coming off their first loss of the season. Winnacunnet losing to Spalding, and then Goffstown losing to Trinity, who is still the favorite, in my opinion, for state championship. They're 5-0 this year.
Oh, and for my 2-minute drill, I just want to say, if you're enjoying the program, please pass the word. We're on all the major podcast platforms. And if you'd like to drop us a line, seacoastsportsforum@yahoo.com. So on behalf of our special guest today, Jay Pinsonnault and Brandon Brown from Seacoast Media Group and SeacoastOnline.com, where I get all my sports, this is Sherm Chester, inviting you to join us for the next edition of the Seacoast Sports Forum podcast.